What's up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of A Spark Ignited. I am your host, Danielle Nicole, and right alongside me, I have someone who is pretty awesome. Her name is Micheal Anderson. She is a best-selling author of Girls in STEM books. She has a series of books that are out right now, and I would love for you guys to meet her. So, hello, Miss Micheal. How
Well,
are
hello.
you?
I am well, Danielle. Thanks so much for having me today.
Thank you so much for coming on Spark Ignited. I'm so excited to have you here. How's your day been?
It's been full.
Yeah.
Church after lunch, getting ready for the podcast. So a busy day
Yeah.
so far.
Yeah, same here, same here. It's like it's never ending, right? It's always something to do, something going on. Yeah,
Right.
cool. All right. Well, if you don't mind, if you can introduce yourself to our audience here, let them know who you are, what it is that you do, and so on.
Absolutely. So, I feel like most of us, I'm a multifaceted individual. So it depends on who you ask,
Uh-huh.
and that description might be a little different. But I am a wife, a mother, a daughter, a sister, a friend, an encourager, a writer, like so many things. But I think ultimately I am a child of God. And
Yeah.
I am just trying and striving to pursue my purpose every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
just multifaceted.
I love that. I love that. And so whenever I did my introduction, I let my audience know that you are an author, right? So what made you decide that you wanted to write books?
It's interesting because growing up, I always liked writing. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed telling stories. Never made the connection of, oh, I think I might want to write a book or I want to be a writer.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was approaching my 50th birthday,
Mm-hmm.
that is such a pivotal moment,
Mm-hmm.
a milestone for so many of us.
Yeah.
And I came up with 50 new experiences before turning 50 that I wanted to do. So these were not necessarily things that would go on a bucket list. Some of them were, but
Uh-huh.
mostly things to stretch me in areas and grow me.
Yeah, I
So
love
I
that.
purposely put myself in uncomfortable situations, things that I knew that I really didn't really care for, but they
Uh-huh.
were on the list. And so I blogged about each experience. And it was
Mm-hmm.
really through that was what reignited that spark that was already there, but
Oh,
for
okay.
so long it just was dormant because I became a mom and just, put it on a shelf and didn't really think about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Awesome. So that's what got you into writing and things like that, right? Cool,
Right,
cool.
exactly.
So your books, what are your books about, if you don't mind letting us know?
Yeah, so I write children's stories for middle grade,
Okay.
and I would say early middle grade because that's probably third grade through sixth grade. So maybe 8 to 11 years old, 8 to 12 years old. So
Uh-huh.
that's the early middle grade chapter books. The genre is fiction, but it's more slice of life because it's realistic. It's quite believable when you read it.
Okay.
Um, and I chose to write about books that encourage STEM, so science, technology, engineering, and math.
Right.
I have two daughters, and both of my girls pursued STEM. But one of
Uh-huh.
the things that I realized was when they were reading books, none of the books that they read had, um, a Black protagonist, a
Mm-hmm.
Black
Mm-hmm.
main character.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they also enjoyed STEM, but a lot of their friends didn't really go that path. And so I thought, what about encouraging Black and brown girls at an earlier age?
I love
And
that.
these are relatable stories that, anybody can relate to.
Uh-huh.
Um, and these are the books that I wish would have been available for my kids.
Got
That,
it.
but so many people are right now getting
Yeah.
the benefit of having access to these stories. And, that's the
Yeah.
blessing.
And you're a best-selling author with these books, correct?
I am certainly, I would say on Amazon, Amazon would say best-selling.
Okay.
Um, I have won an award, the reader's
Awesome.
favorite.
Uh-huh.
So I can absolutely say I am an award-winning author.
Yay.
And that was such an honor. Like that was just
I'm
such an honor
sure.
to be able to place that seal on the book.
Yeah, absolutely.
And often I check just to see, how things are going. And
Mm-hmm.
I checked and I saw that 3 of the 4 books that I have are in
Uh-huh.
the top 10, are currently in the top 10 of their category.
Congratulations. That is a
So
huge
thank
honor.
you. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And just so you guys know, just to give you a little bit of background, I met Michael actually going into Barnes and Noble to find out how to do, book signings of my own there. And she was actually doing one that day. And I love to support our local authors every chance that I get. And so, of course, I made sure that I stopped at her table and we got to talking. The rest is history. We are
Right,
here
right.
now. But she
Yes.
had helped me with so many different things on just getting myself out there and, these different companies and organizations that I can introduce myself to. And with that, I mean, when people bless you like that, I'm blessed to be a blessing as well. And blessed her with the entire Mindset Trilogy series that I had because a thing that I
Which
do,
I love,
Michael,
which I love, by the
thank
way. Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. So, a thing that I do, I have my books in my car. And I don't just force people, my books or anything like that. Like when I come into an encounter like how you and I had, and if it's something that I feel like my books will bless them or one of them or whatever the case may be, it's something I've always done since I wrote the first book. And with you giving me as much knowledge as you gave me, I said she deserves the whole trilogy series, because it was just immeasurable, honestly. And I just really appreciated it, and I have learned so much just from that day, talking to
Wow.
you and getting myself out there. Like, I'm so appreciative that I have met you and I'm learning a lot from you. Every time we talk, I'm taking little nuggets and
Wow.
applying them and, just getting myself out there because of the conversation that we had. So I really, really appreciate that. So that's how I met her, you guys, if you're wondering how do we link up and things like that. So yeah, it was like a
That's
predestined
that's
day, right?
amazing.
It's fate. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And thanks so much. Thanks so much for sharing. I think as indie authors or as authors, just period,
Uh-huh.
there's so many layers to what we do,
Right.
and you can't take it all in at one time.
No.
And sometimes it seems overwhelming. You
Mhm,
get inundated with all this information, and it's like, what do you
mhm,
do with all
mhm,
this information? So
mhm,
I'm sharing, and I don't have a problem sharing because
mhm.
trust me, others have poured into me and have helped me to kind of navigate and find, the space that I fit in. And I think that
Right.
that's, when you're talking about this journey as an author,
Yeah.
we see it's easy for us to look and see what's working for someone else, but we don't always fit in that space. And so it's imperative
Right.
that we find the
Mhm.
space that we fit in with the
Right.
talents that we have. And
Right.
so, I've certainly been able to do that and, through
Yeah.
networking and leveraging certain partnerships through
Yeah.
those books.
Yeah. You definitely have taught me that, like I'm not, well, I'm a little shy. People that know me know that I am a little shy, but I will tell you that I am in a season right now where God is calling me out in the forefront, like on the front line, right? So there's no
Mhm.
more background Danielle. He wants me in the front, and he's saying it, with every endeavor that he's blessing me with in this season of my life. And I know the old me would have been like, oh, no, 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 I'm not ready for that. But whether I'm ready for it or not, I'm going to do it, because when he calls you to something, he's going to equip you for it. And that's what I have learned
Absolutely.
in this season in my life. And it has just been a blessing. And like I said, running into people like you who are like minded and just have that same type of mindset, it really is such a blessing because it's hard to talk to people about stuff like this when they're not necessarily doing the same thing. They're proud of you and things like that. But when you have an author friend that just gets the ins and out of it all,
Oh
it
yeah.
makes
Oh
a
yeah.
huge difference.
For sure.
So
For
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much. And
Yeah.
trust me, I'm so glad that you came in
Hmm.
and blessed me with the books. And
Yeah.
that's something that I have to probably start doing more of because
Hmm.
I rarely have my books with me.
Hmm.
Um, and I also, like you, am very comfortable in the background.
Uh-huh.
Very comfortable. You know what? I'm like, you know what? It's okay. It's okay
Hmm.
back here. It's comfortable back here. Like very,
Absolutely.
very comfortable in the background.
Hmm.
But sometimes, yeah, sometimes we got, tippy toe
That's
up.
right. Gotta take that little leap forward, it makes all the difference in the world. I love that. Okay, so we described what STEM is. So it's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And that's something that you felt that was kind of needed whenever you were a little girl and saw that it was a need for our Black and brown little girls as well. So you created those, and you have 4 books, you said? Is it
I
on the
do.
same or is it a series?
So it is a series, and the
Okay.
first one, and honestly, when I started writing, I didn't have any idea if, I didn't think it was going to be a series. I thought it was just going to be a book.
Same.
And
Yeah.
as you start writing, it kind of starts, molding itself and shaping itself, and directing where it wants to go when you write. So I
Uh-huh.
thought I was going to write a picture book, but
Uh-huh.
I ended up
Mhm.
writing a chapter book. I
Mhm.
thought I was going to write one book, and it ended up being
Mhm.
a series. And so
Mhm.
there's 4 books currently in the series. I'm currently working on the 5th book. Each book, I'm intentional to talk about and expose kids to one discipline of STEM. So the
Mhm.
first 2 are science, the third one is engineering, the fourth one is technology, and then
Mm.
this fifth one is actually going to be math. But I do
Okay.
that intentionally because I think so many times when you're talking about an underserved community, an underrepresented community,
Mhm.
often they don't even know. They have, first of all, they have limited resources, and
Yeah.
then they don't even know what their resources are. They have
Right.
limited access. And
Mhm.
so it's just really hard for kids to be what they can't see.
That's
And
right.
so I
Mhm.
purposely expose um, children in that environment to
Mhm.
a family dynamic where you have a 2-parent home. So
Uh-huh.
both parents graduated.
Mhm.
One of the parents graduated from an HBCU. The
Mhm.
kids are certainly going to go to college. And
Mhm.
so I want them to see what that dynamic is, because the conversation that takes place in that house, the support that you see in that house it looks very different. And so I want to
Absolutely.
normalize
Mhm.
exposing kids
Mhm.
to that. Now,
Mhm.
I will tell you what's interesting is I write from a Black perspective, and I
Uh-huh.
write to encourage Black and brown kids. What's
Mhm.
interesting is that the majority of my audience is suburban and white,
Mhm. Mhm.
and
Yeah.
that's because they have access.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
because they have someone that will, one, take them to a library to get the book for free, or take
Mhm.
them to a Barnes and Nobles,
Uh-huh.
um, or order from Amazon. Like, you know what I mean? They have
Right.
access, they have resources. And so that's great because these diverse stories benefit everybody. It's not just Black and brown people,
Right.
Black and brown. Diverse stories benefit everybody. But I just think that we have to do better with
Uh-huh.
getting these books in the hands of the kids who it really is going to benefit.
And you definitely started the conversation. I love that you bridged that gap there, because like you said, it is something needed. And to be honest with you, with me growing up, I grew up in a very diverse community, but it still wasn't really talked about, so it was something
Right.
that was definitely needed in our community. But to bridge the gap to where we're all together, coming together and learning about this is definitely needed. So bravo to you for getting the conversation going. Um,
I think it's necessary.
it
And
is absolutely.
the feedback that I've heard from educators
Mm-hmm.
is when, for example,
Mhm,
in the story, one of the stories, the dad says to his wife about
mhm.
dinner that she put her foot in it. He was like, "You put your foot in, whatever it
Yeah,
was she
yeah.
made."
Mhm,
And so we know
mhm,
what that means.
mhm.
But a lot of people don't know what that means.
Right,
Not,
right.
a lot of non-melanated folk don't
Right, right,
know
right.
what that means.
Mhm.
And so educators like that because they can say, okay, so this is kind of like, and then they can open that conversation up. Uh,
Yeah.
because we all have, and I think in our cultures, we all have kind of unique things
Mhm,
that
mhm.
are not
Our
necessarily
own.
unique to us,
Mhm,
but
mhm.
to another culture, it's like, what is that?
Oh,
So
it's
it
so
opens up
funny
that.
that you said that because I remember my daughter being about 4 years old, and I had said that to my partner at the time. I was like, "You put your foot in that," and my daughter was like, "Ew, he put his foot in it," because she didn't know about it at the time. But
Right,
that just
right.
reminded me that she said that. But yeah, we know exactly what that means.
Yes,
That
yes.
means we're going for seconds and maybe third. So
Right, right,
yeah, yeah,
right. So
love that.
there's some of those, I think, cultural references that I
Hmm.
make, and I make them intentionally,
Yeah.
um, because I just want I want the authenticity to come through when you're
Right.
reading the story.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes when people don't get it, they can still
Mm-hmm.
get it by reading through, between the lines. It's like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
those context clues, they can pick it up.
Absolutely. Totally. They can. So where can my audience find your books?
So I am in the Barnes and Nobles. So locally, I'm in a lot of in the St. Louis area. I'm in a lot of the brick and mortar stores, which is lovely. So
Okay.
I See Me, which is Black owned. They can
Mm-hmm.
find my book there. Of course, always on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in some of the libraries. So I think the St. Louis Public Library or St. Louis County Library, St.
Yeah.
Charles Public Library. So yeah,
I
you can
love
find
that.
me. You can find me.
Awesome.
And also on my website. Let me not forget my website.
Yeah.
At, and I am at Everything Micheal. That's Micheal because I spell
Yeah.
it different.
Mm-hmm.
.com.
Got it. Got it. Do you have any copies of your books that you could show the audience on the call?
You know, I do. Give me one moment. They're right over
Yeah,
here.
absolutely. Totally. Yay.
So these are not, let's see. Well, I wanted to show one with the seal, but I don't have the seal, but this is the one that won the award. So The Big Move to the Lou.
Love that.
And
She's cute.
yes, and now something interesting is this is the Sticky Finger Bandit. So this is this is the second book in the series.
Mm-hmm.
The Misadventures at Camp is the third book in the series.
Nice.
And this is my newest one, The Crush Chronicles. And I gotta
Love.
tell you, I don't know if you noticed, but
Mhm.
Zoe's hair is different on every book. Did you
Yep,
notice
I saw.
that?
Hmm. It's
And
cute though.
so when I do these Zoom meetings with Girl Scouts, and
Uh-huh.
most of the Girl Scouts that I meet with, and I meet with all over the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the girls are not Black girls. Most of them are white girls, and
Mm-hmm.
so they will often ask me, "Why is her hair different?
Oh.
Why is her hair different on this
Mm-hmm.
book?" And I
Mm-hmm.
said, "But and it's so funny because I did that on purpose because we change our hair all the time.
All the
Like
time.
when I send my kids to school, they might have two French braids one day. They might have an Afro puff the next day. They might have a blowout another day. They might have
Mm-hmm.
beads with braids with beads. Like there's no telling. And so I do that on
Absolutely.
purpose because this
Mm-hmm.
is like an expression of how we feel this day.
Yeah.
Is how our hair looks, and
Yep. That's
that's the
right.
reality. So
Yep.
I do that on purpose. No little Black girl has ever asked me ever why is her
Mm-hmm.
hair different on every cover.
No, exactly. Because our hair is never the same, 2 days in a row. Hardly ever,
Yeah,
anyways.
yeah,
Yeah, I
for
love
sure.
that you did that. Definitely, because that definitely paints a picture of our reality, having different hairstyles
Yeah,
based on
it's like,
how we
okay,
feel
let's see
that
how we
day.
feeling today.
Yep,
Yep, we're gonna have a
absolutely.
blowout today.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the braids. Yep, you got to keep it. And then I talk about, and when she goes to camp. Now this is funny. When she
Uh-huh.
goes to camp, um, so she's sleeping away from home. Well, you got to still
Hmm.
protect your hair, and so that's a whole thing when she's in the cabin, and it's like, well, it's her and a friend. So there's two little
Hmm.
Black girls in the cabin, and
Hmm.
she's like, okay, it's time for bed. You know, she's feeling a certain type of way about pulling out her bonnet and tying up her hair.
Oh,
But
okay.
it is
Hmm.
what it is. And so there's some conversations even about that. And so that's what I love about the series is that it shows something that's so basic to us, like
Hmm.
making sure we take care of our hair, got to tie it up, keep it together, so the next day it's not all over our heads. But
Right.
something so simple, but to other people it's like, what are you doing all that for? Why can't you just go to
Hmm.
bed?
No, it's not that easy, huh? Or not that simple. Yeah, definitely. I love that you included that though. That, like you said, it definitely paints the picture of what we're doing, like with our hair and things like that. So that's
Hmm.
perfect. So you are writing the fifth book. Can you release the title, or are you kind of waiting for that?
So I will tell you that titles are so hard for me. Like titles
Okay.
are the last thing to come.
Mm-hmm.
The book will be pretty much done. And I'm
Uh-huh.
just like, what am I going to call this one? What am I going to call this one? But I think this one is a Christmas story, and I think it's going to be
Oh,
called The Christmas
cute.
Surprise. I think it's going to be a Christmas surprise.
I love that. That is really, really sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm the complete
Christmas is my
opposite.
favorite.
I have the title first and then I write.
Oh, oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the
How does
complete
that even work?
opposite.
Yeah,
Huh.
that is so interesting to me. Wow.
Yep. Yeah, I do. I have my title. I expand on that title and then I write from that expansion.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. But I've
Yeah,
always, I've always written that way, even back in high school, college, creative writing classes. I've always, that's the easiest way to do it to me.
that's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
and I think I think because this is a series, I know that
Uh-huh.
it's going to be Zoe
Uh-huh.
Linden something.
Uh-huh.
So there's that part. But if this was not a series,
Hmm.
I I don't even know. Like I really struggle with the title. Like so.
Really?
Mhm.
Really? I love that it's going to be a Christmas story, though. I think that's really cute.
Yeah,
You
I think so.
ever have like any type of like dream of having Zoe go to the screens, like creating like a TV show or anything like that?
Well, that would be lovely, but I haven't thought of that. If
Yeah.
someone wanted to do that, I
Hmm.
mean, I think certainly they could because, like I said, it's slice of life. And a lot of times when you see TV shows,
Hmm.
those type of shows, they are written from a slice of life perspective. So I
Absolutely. I
I
think
can
they
see
would
that.
be awesome to add to our, collection of series for little kids. It's needed. Like you said, we have the books now. Let's see it on television too. So you just never know.
Yeah,
You never know.
yeah,
I
right. You
love
don't
that.
know.
So I know you're working on the fifth book. Are you working on any other projects you want to let us know about?
So I'm not working on anything, but I do have ideas. So
Uh-huh.
um, I think there's two other projects that I want to do. One
Hmm.
is a middle grade, but I think the other one is probably more upper middle grade. So like this one is that 8 to 11. I
Uh-huh.
think the next one that I want to do is probably more um, maybe 10 to 13. And so
Uh-huh.
that's the upper middle grade.
Hmm.
And then there's also, I'm thinking of a picture book, which
I
is very
love
different,
that.
very, very
Yeah,
different.
yeah. That was the only way I wanted to read when I was a kid. It had to have pictures in there to to excite me a little bit. Any book that came my way with just words, I was automatically not interested
Mhm.
in it at all. But yeah,
Yeah,
so
well,
yeah.
I think picture books certainly are necessary because I think that they
Mhm.
spark your interest, you know what I mean?
And help
Uh,
you visualize what you're reading too.
yeah. And the
Hmm.
pictures, so in the picture books, to me, it is it's very important that you have an illustrator who can really capture what it is that you're trying to say because
That's
the
right.
pictures are what's going to, tell the story.
Right.
It's not so much because
Exactly.
there's not that many words in the picture book. So it
Right.
has to
Right.
be, they have to be able to capture, the essence of what it is that you want to say.
Yeah, I can only imagine that that's definitely a different type of beast, doing a picture
Hmm.
book for sure. Because, like you said, it definitely tells the story for you.
Right.
So, yeah. Well, I look forward to that whenever you do start on those different projects. I know they're going to be just as awesome as your books you have right now. But want to, before we end the podcast, I'd love to do like five fun facts about who you are. So if you can go ahead and do that, let us know five fun facts about you.
Okay. 5 fun facts. Let's see. I don't know if this is fun fact or not, but I love to travel.
Okay, yeah, great.
Um, Yeah, I love to travel abroad. I love cruises. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a
Mm-hmm.
fun fact.
Uh-huh.
I love to listen to jazz, but I
Mm.
prefer my music live.
Okay.
Um,
So you
yeah,
love
so I'm
concert.
definitely,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
I'm a jazz head. Like I can listen to that every day.
Oh, great.
Fun fact is I have never had cheesecake. I'm lactose
What,
intolerant.
Michael? Okay, so
I'm
that's our next outing, our next girls outing. We're going to go get some cheesecake.
No, no, no. I'm lactose intolerant.
Oh,
So
you
I
can't have any.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, so ice cream and things like that. Like, but I've never even when I was able to do cheese
Uh-huh.
and dairy stuff, I just never had cheesecake. So yeah,
Mm,
that's pretty
it's so
interesting.
good. It's
I'm gonna
delicious.
take it. But see, and I think if everything had dairy, I would be skinny. Like, I would, I
Hmm.
would just be skinny. I wouldn't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
Um, so let's see what else. They call me Michael because
Uh-huh.
I'm the sixth girl. So my family wanted a boy,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Michael.
Love that.
I'm girl number six,
Uh-huh.
and my brother I actually have a brother, and so
Okay.
number six.
So,
So
so
yeah,
they
so they
finally
just
got
kind
their
of kept
boy.
going.
Yeah, yeah.
Kept going.
Wow. So he's the only boy out of six girls
Seven.
and then him.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah,
Yes.
they were
Yeah.
determined.
They were. That's what you
Yeah.
call commitment.
That's right.
Um, and let me
Yeah.
think if there's another fun fact.
How many
I
countries
don't
have you visited?
know. How many countries?
Uh-huh.
Hmm, I think maybe 9.
That's a great
Not very
fact.
many.
Yeah.
Not very many.
No, that's a
Um,
lot. That's a lot of countries.
I will say one of my favorite cities was Barcelona.
Oh,
Um,
I bet.
Barcelona was just a vibe.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Mm-hmm.
very chill. And even though I don't know if we were there and it was a rainy season or just a rainy time, but
Uh-huh.
it didn't even matter. We just had
Yeah.
a great time.
Love that.
Um, Amsterdam was another really cool country, and I would go back there in a heartbeat. Like
I've never heard
it
anyone
was
that go to Amsterdam and had a bad time. I've always
it
heard that
was
it's such a great time.
it
Mm-hmm.
absolutely was. And I will tell you,
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I noticed there
Mm-hmm.
was there was no overweight people in Amsterdam. There was
Portions, huh?
well, they walked everywhere or rode their bicycle.
Okay.
Um, there's more bicycles than there are vehicles. And it was just,
Wow.
yeah, it was really cool. They do a lot of stuff outside.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I didn't see not one overweight person the entire time I was
That
there.
is interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. I wish I could say the same for our country, but
No, 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 no,
not
no.
happening over here. All right, Michael. So I have a little rapid fire for you
Oh,
before we
okay.
leave here. Okay, so what is your favorite empowering song?
Empowering song.
A song that just
Oh,
makes you feel great about life.
well, so I would say Just Fine by Mary J. Blige because that just
Okay.
makes me feel very good. Like every
Yeah,
time
yeah.
it's like,
That's a
I love
feel good
music.
song.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
it just gets me every time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think also Michael Bublé has the
Mm-hmm.
same effect on me. So
Oh,
when I
he's just
hear,
so calming and just
yeah, when I hear
mm-hmm.
his music, it just kind of is very peaceful, very serene to
Mm-hmm.
me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably my go-to. So
Okay.
anything by Michael Bublé or that one song by Mary J. Blige, yes.
Okay. Okay. And that is a fun song. Okay. So I know that you just celebrated your 31st wedding anniversary. So I'm so, so excited for you on that. Okay. What's one relationship advice that you could give us all?
Oh, well, I would say just because I did this for many years
Mm-hmm.
is to not have a TV in your bedroom.
Okay. Okay.
Not have a TV. I know it's like, huh? What? Hey,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
don't knock it till you try it. Uh,
Okay. So more time to talk and cuddle.
well, I think that it's the TV is such a distraction. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're at odds and you're not speaking, it's easier to continue that when you can just
Yeah.
click on the TV. So yeah,
Right.
so I do have a TV in my room
Uh-huh.
now, so let's just be clear. But for the first probably 25 years of my marriage, I did not.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
That's great advice. Great advice. Okay. Sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
Sunset. And what is your go-to comfort food?
Oh, potato chips and hot sauce.
Oh man, what kind of potato chips? Plain Lays?
No, just
I
plain
haven't
with the
had
hot
that in
sauce.
so long. It's been a long
Yeah,
time.
potato chips and hot
Yeah.
sauce
Well,
with a
this has
nice
been
cold
so
Coke.
yeah. Oh, and the Coke. I haven't had soda in ages. very, very long time. Just give me a
Oh,
margarita or
wow.
some water. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
anywho, this has been so much fun, Michael. I'm so excited that you decided to join and give us all the
Thank
knowledge
you.
of STEM and let us know what your books are about and where we can find them. Where can my audience find you on social media?
I am Everything Michael on Instagram, and that's usually where I'm most active. My
Okay.
website is www.everythingmichael.com. Michael
Hmm.
is spelled Micheal.
Yeah, that's an
So yeah,
important.
those are the two places to find me. Yes.
Awesome, you guys. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining in. Thank you again, Michael, for joining a Spark Ignited podcast. You guys, you can find me every Tuesday, wherever you get your podcasts, and of course on YouTube for the visual drop. But other than that, you guys, thank you so much again, Michael, and I will see you guys next week. All right. Bye
Thank you.
bye.